Hi everyone, I'm gonna give you some hints about the day 12 exercise, and I will say day 12 exercise is one of the hardest daily exercise, so I'm gonna spend a little bit more time to give you a little bit more information to get you started. Okay, and before I talk about the exercise, here are a few more things I want to talk to you. This is a file. If you go to the course page, and then you can find a file called course schedule. And if you click on this one, and you will see my course schedule, and it was posted in week 1. And probably you have already forgotten about this, but take a look. Well, we are here, right? So we are exactly at the right place. So everything is moving forward as planned, and we are in good shape. And I want you guys to scroll down and take a look here. So November 2nd and November the 4th, and we are gonna have two more midterms. And well, if you're afraid that you are gonna miss the midterm, and remember to mark your calendar, okay? And let me come back to the Canvas page again, and let's see. uh, okay, so this is the TA's information in week posted in week 3. Okay, we have the TA, and then this is his office hours. And if you follow this link, and during his office hour time, and you will be able to find him. And in case my office hours don't work for you, and you can try the TA's office hour. Okay, and by the way, this hyperlink this hyperlink has been my personal office hour. Okay, and my office hour should be Tuesday and Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30. Okay, let me check if I'm really correct on this. Okay, yes, Tuesday and Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30. Yes. Let's come back. Okay, so in the first exercise, we want to do a simulation of rolling a die, and the goal is we want to roll a die for a total of n times, and we want to get all sixes. You may say, oh, it's going to be very hard, right? Because say you want to roll a die for 5 times, and for those 5 rolls, 5 independent rolls, you all got 6. Well, that's amazing. You're going to be really lucky. But let's do a different way. How about we do this? Well, if let's assume that I'm a cheater, and then I roll a die, and then if I see a 6, I'm gonna say, hey, I roll a 6. And otherwise, if I rolled a die and I didn't get a 6, and then I'm gonna say, okay, not a 6, let me roll that again. So, well, I claim I roll a 6 really loud, so that for the rest of the rows, the rest of the unsuccessful rows, I'm just going to re-roll the die. Okay, and the goal is, well, the caller is going to send us an N, and that is how many sixes we want to roll before we stop. And well, think about that. How many rows do I really need? And the answer is we don't know, right? Say if the N is a 5, for example, and then the smallest number of the rows to get 5 sixes should be 5. That is when it's very lucky, but it's not so likely to happen, right? And then, well, this is another example. If we try to do 3, so we want to roll 3 6s, and this is the process. The first try, I'm lucky, and then in the next 7 to 8 rolls, and I was not so lucky, and before I get the second 6, and then I got another number, and then I got one more 6. So now I have 1, 2, and 3 6s, right? And then I just want to, the goal is I want to have 3 6s. So eventually I have finished it, rolling 3 6s. And then I'm going to print, I finished rolling 3 6s with 13 rows. Okay, 13 is the total number of the rows I have done. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, the first thing, well, I want to ask you, is that a definite loop or a indefinite loop? I think for this part, it should be clear it is an indefinite loop, right? So while what? here is the next question. What are we going to put here, right? So what are we going to put here? Well, I'm going to do something like this. While true. What does while true mean? So as long as true is true, I'm going to continue running the body. So it looks like this is infinite loop. Is that correct? Because while true is true, I'm going to run the body once, and while true is true again, I'm going to run this once. So there has to be an exit somewhere in the body. Okay, and let me create a few more variables. Say total number of rows equals 0. Okay, so at the beginning of each round, I want to roll the die once, and then say my row equals random dot randint randint and from 1 to 6, right? So those are the numbers available. And then I want to check if my row, the current row, the number I got, is it 6 or not. So if 6 equals my row, and then colon, and if I do have a 6, and then I want to say, hey, I row is 6. So print, hey, I row is 6. And else, what do? Otherwise, I want to do, I want to print not a 6. Let me try that again. And then, how about I also make a count here. So after row a die, and then I'm going to increase the total number of the rows by 1. And then I guess that's it. So let me run this code. And by the way, let me take a look on the color. So the first color is I want to row 3 sixes, and the second color is I want to do 10 sixes. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna just print a done here. Okay, and then, well, I haven't done this part, but no worries, I'm gonna do a done to remind me that I have finished this job. Okay, so let me run this once. Do you see the problem? Well, the problem is it seems that we keep on rolling, and then we either print, hey, I row a 6 or not a 6, and let me roll that again. So this iteration doesn't stop. Do you know what happened? The reason is here. And then we want to check one more thing. If we want to check how many 6s we get. So counter of 6s equals 0. Okay, and then if we roll a 6, and then I'm gonna say counter of 6s plus equals 1. So the counter of 6s will record how many 6s have I received. And then if the counter of 6s equals n, this means, well, our goal is we want to roll a total of n 6s. And then if we do have the n 6s, and what do? Here we want to do a break. Okay, and then this break will help us finish the whole iteration. And then here is another place that I want to add a continue. So I want to add a continue here. The reason is, well, if we are in this else branch, and what does this mean? This means we got a number. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not a 6. So if the current number we got is not a 6, this means we definitely want to reroll the die. So probably we don't need to bother to check that, because the reason that we are rolling the die is because we are not getting the n number of the 6s yet. And then if we are in this else branch, this means the current row we didn't get a 6. So probably we don't need to bother to check that. But anyhow, if you want to take on this continue, this is also correct. Okay, so let me run this again. Okay, so I roll a 6, and then I was really unlucky in the next 10 rolls, and then I roll a 6. I was not so lucky again, and then I roll another 6, and that is the third 6, right? And then I'm printing a done. Okay, so it seems that I have got the majority of this work done, and here is one last thing you want to do. Okay, so instead of printing a done, you want to print this. I finished rolling 3 6s, and this 3 should be the number of the end here, and then with a total of how many rows. So for me this time, probably I got almost 20 rows before I got the third 6. Okay, so for this done, you have to change it to something else. Okay, so this is the process of doing the first question, and you can see this is a lot, and I'm using a continue and a break, and this is a while true, and this is kind of a weird thing, but from time to time you will see that, and usually we use the while true because it is definitely a indefinite loop, and we don't really know there's anything you want to check. However, in the body of the iteration, we will add a break. We definitely need a break, and otherwise this iteration will never stop. Okay, so there are two more questions, and go ahead and take a look. And I do believe this the day 12 exercise is probably one of the hardest one, and you do want to spend a little bit more time. And if you have questions, let me know. Okay.